Hey guys, in this session let us learn how to write a shell script to calculate the time taken for a job to complete. In Linux we have a command called time. Okay, this time command prints the total time taken for the job. Okay, it has three outputs: real, user and sys. Okay, real time represents the wall clock time. Wall clock time means the actual time or the real world time based on your time zone. In your Windows machine, at the bottom of your taskbar, you have some time, right? That is wall clock time. Or if you have a clock or watch, that is actual time. Okay, and coming to user, user time represents the time spent by the user process on CPU. Okay, user process mean currently I am connected to Oracle user. This is called user. And if I am executing any command or job or any shell script using this user, this is considered as user process, right? And this user process needs some process to execute the job or task, right? And that process needs CPU to complete the task. It is like filling up fuel in your car. Without fuel, car will not start, right? Likewise, without CPU, process will not complete the task. Okay, for CPU there will be some time, right? How much time this process has spent on the CPU time. This is called user time. And coming to sys time represents the amount of CPU spent by the process at the kernel level. Okay, there may be two types of processes, right? Foreground and background process. So in Linux, if you just type top, you'll be able to see lot of default processes running in the output of top command. So these default processes are called background process. Okay, and if you are executing any shell script and that shell script has to spawn some process and burn the CPU, right? So that is called foreground process. Why? Because we are manually executing a task. It is not part of Linux, right? So you can see tuned and you can see system D, system daemon, RCUGP. These are all mandatory processes which has to run on Linux. RCU, shed, right? So these processes may be considered as sys process. Okay, and these processes run at the kernel level. Now if I just say time vmstat 13, okay, let us see how much time it takes for this command to complete. Vmstat 13 means I am executing this vmstat for every 1 second in a interval of 3 times. Okay, 1 second is the interval and 3 is the number of times this vmstat has to execute. Okay, here you can see the output real, user and sys, right? Real time is 2 seconds, which is the wall clock time. Okay, it has taken, or the time vmstat13 has taken 2 seconds to execute this command, and it has taken almost 0.003 seconds of CPU, and sys time is also same. At the kernel level, this has taken 0.003 seconds. Okay, this is one of the way that you can calculate the time taken for any shell script or command. You can also manually calculate the time taken for a job to complete. Okay, we have another command called date, right? This date command usually print the current date, time and year, everything. If I say plus percentage yes, this will print the seconds. Okay, now let me create a shell script called time. Let me use some variables. What I'm going to do is I'm going to declare two variables. Okay, ELA S and ELA E. ELA S means start time and ELA E means end time, which is elapsed start time and elapsed end time. Okay, that is the convention behind this variable. Okay, I will be executing some command or script. Say for example vmstat 510. Okay, what I will do is I will just use this variable to mark the start time. Okay, and I will be using the another variable after this script to calculate the end time. Okay, so that I will get the end time, also the start time. I will just measure the time in seconds. Okay, for that I will be using date command. Date plus percentage yes. Once I get both the values, what I will do, I will just subtract end time minus start time to get the total elapsed time. This is simple, right? Say for example, if you want to count the time period between a task, okay, if I need to calculate the time taken for my breakfast to complete, this is outside of shell script, I'm just giving you an example. At 8 a.m. you are having your breakfast and you have completed your breakfast at 8:30 a.m. Now how you will calculate the time taken for the breakfast to complete? You will subtract end time minus start time, right? This is my start time and this is the end time. When I subtract it, what I will get? 30 minutes. This is the time taken for the breakfast to complete. Likewise, we are going to use the same concept in this shell script to calculate the time taken for this shell script to complete. Okay. Here I will be declaring a variable with the date command. Okay. This again I am giving this variable called total ELA. Total ELA means total elapsed time. Okay. I will be calling the variables. Okay. I am just subtracting the end time and the start time in a new variable. Okay. So now I have to use this end time after this command, right? This is how I can calculate both the start time and end time. Okay. Before executing this command, I am declaring a variable with date seconds, and after execution of this command, again I give the same. Okay. Say for example, if the elapsed time start is 1 second, and if this command take almost 10 seconds, after completion of this command, immediately this second variable will be executed. So it will be 10, right, or 11. And if I just subtract both 11 and 1, I will get the output as 10, right? Now I will just print this variable. I will call this variable inside echo. That's it, simple. Okay. Now let me execute this script. Here you can see total elapsed time for the command is 45. It has taken 45 seconds for this vmstat command to complete. Okay. This also makes sense. Why? Because I have used vmstat 510, right? Which means I told vmstat to execute for every 5 seconds for a number of times as 10, right? If you just multiply this, it should be 50 seconds, and we got approx value as 45, right? Sometimes there may be some difference in the elapsed time, but it's better to rely on the time command itself. Okay, let us use the same time command and check how much real time it is showing. Okay, this is actually the wall clock time. Okay, even you can see the real time is also showing us 45 seconds, right? So there is no much difference between the inbuilt Linux command and whatever shell script that we have written. Okay, there may be some time difference inside this vmstat command itself. Okay, so that is why we are not getting 50 seconds. Okay, but this is the high level concept of how to calculate the exact time taken for a job to complete.